So, after I purchased the boat, I hired a company to haul the boat from Old Saybrook, Connecticut back to Lawrence, Kansas. When the boat got here, it had all kinds of lobster gear on it. Ropes, buoys, bins, markers, all kinds of stuff that ultimately I probably wouldn't have any use for here in Kansas. So we loaded it all up, cleaned out the boat, got it organized, was able to assess just how damaged and how screwed up the boat was. Here you can see Jack taking apart, dismantling a bunch of stuff. He's a kid here. Right now, as I'm doing this video, he's a mechanical engineer graduate from the University of Kansas 2 years ago. That might give you an idea of how long some of these projects take. But we kept grinding on, pulling off parts of the boat, parts of the keel, parts of the upper deck, making a good assessment, finding what was solid, what wasn't, and what we needed to address. Overall, I was still satisfied with the condition and quality of the boat. It just needed a lot of work. There were a few cracks here and there, which I'd already seen and I'd already assessed. The most important part at this point was to cut out all the fiberglass and expose all the rotten core in the transom. Here you can see that's the transom cap. It was absolutely disintegrated with moldy, rotten plywood. And just like I thought it would be, it was rotten all the way down to the base of the boat. So I yanked all that out, cleaned it out, scraped it out, dried it out, pulled it all out, cut it out, and there's the cap flipped upside down. You can see how rotten everything is. At this point, any place that had solid wood, all the rot was cut out to the solid portion of the wood. Lower down on the transom was the steering mechanism and the levers and all that stuff, and it was all rotted too. There was a thin layer of fiberglass fabric on the inside of it, but here you can see clearly that it was not a pretty sight. A poke of the fiberglass with the screwdriver just went completely through all the rotten plywood. I knew that was all going to have to be cut out when I assessed the boat in Connecticut, and this is just live action right here of what we had to do. I cut off the skin of the hole in the transom there, and you can see that's rotten all the way down to the bottom of the floor. What's rotten there is 2 3/4-inch pieces of plywood sandwiched together for a total of 1.5 inches that had rotted completely. Pulled all that out, scraped it out, had to cut a bunch of fiberglass tabs and all that stuff out and get it all the way down to what was part of the false back of the transom. Here you can see there's a gap between the actual back of the boat and the transom on the inside. All that had to be removed, but the shell of the boat exterior remained, which made it pretty easy. I cut all that out, cleaned all that out, and prepared the area for 2 new pieces of marine plywood that were epoxied and fiberglassed. This concludes episode number 2 of this series. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. It's going to be awesome.